Hi folks, welcome to the Vermont Public Utility Commission training on ePUC and the telecommunications application and cable television application forms. First, I just want to make sure that folks can see my screen. Could someone say yay or nay?
Yep, we can see it.
Okay, thank you. And then I'd like to ask folks to just remember to mute their phones while they're not speaking. If that could be done, that would be really helpful. We also will have a chat feature on the GoToMeeting that folks can use to type in questions as we're going along. If we aren't stopping at a point that you'd like to ask a question at, just feel free to type it in the chat message. My name is Andrea McHugh, and I am a hearing officer and utilities analyst for the Public Utility Commission, and with me today is Holly Anderson,
Deputy Clerk of the Commission, and hopefully I've helped some of you or will help you with anything that you have going on with ePUC. In the future, we have our admin email too, that's out there, so people make note of all that. If you have any issues from here on out, you can send emails to that. I think that was on the memo that went out.
It's on the bottom of the memo that went out, yep. And so today we're going to start with the registration forms for CPGs to own or operate telecom businesses. We'll stop for questions at that point, and but in the meantime, if you would like to enter in a question on the chat feature, feel free to do that. That would be probably most efficient, because we do have around 8 or 9 people on the phone today. Okay, so if you look on the left-hand side of the navigation, you'll see telecommunications forms down here, and we'll be starting with the
very bottom of the list.
Bottom of the list. So
and one thing is when you see our screen might look a little different than when you go onto your portal, because what we work here in is what we call our development portal, where we can then do these kind of things to show you and add things to this system without actually adding them to our true portal and making up crazy cases. So. So if you do see something that looks a little different, that's the reason why. But on the portal you'll use, you will find these new forms all existing.
And we're also assuming that folks have already gone in and set up a account on ePUC. And if you haven't and you have some questions about that, there are some resources on our website that can help you with that, with the sign up. It's pretty self-explanatory and similar to other registration type of processes. Okay, so should we get started?
All right. And I think you've already hit it, but you click on the form that you would like to use, as she just did, and it starts on the screen. There we go. And back up at the top, you'll see there are all of our general instructions, which I would recommend the first time that you're using any of these forms. It's always a good idea to read everything that's on here, because it may give you some information that helps you have
helps you to fill out the forms most completely and
answer some questions without having to call us. Sometimes it's all right in there. And it starts right off. And as it starts off, note that in this one, company refers to the applicant that is looking to get the CPG. So the very first step would be to, as it asks you, to enter the company's legal name. And I would think traditionally with many of these telco CPG applications that you do not already exist in our system. So the red click here is the first place to start, but please note that it is pulling you into a new tab on your computer. So what this is doing is adding it to our system. And anything with a red dot is mandatory that you answer these questions. So whenever you see the red star, like any of our other forms, if you've used petition or anything else, but that's something that's the same true across. And then here is this happens with a lot of specialty CPG, healthcare CPGs, there are does business as names. And it's important that you fill all of these out. If you have one or two or as many as you have, that you fill in all the information here. And once you've done one, if you have multiple, you'll see the little plus signs in the blue box, blue circles. Every time you click one, it will make you a new place to put in your next one. And if you happen to hit a plus by mistake, and it adds an extra box that you didn't need, you need to go over to the right. You'll see the minus. That takes it away, because otherwise the system, when you go to file, it will think that you must miss something. So there are all little things to look out for. And again, the address, phone for each of these needs to be filled out. Bear with us while we do our typing. And at the end of forms, you will see this right here called our CAPTCHA, which we've gone to math questions to make it a little bit easier to see instead of all the letters. So you just answer the easy math question and proceed. And then you will get this little message, and it will tell you that that has gone in. But when you first see this, when you're adding a company, a person, any information, that does not mean your filing is complete. It just means that you have added a person or a company into our database. So at the very top of your screen, you will see a tab which will bring you back to the actual filing that you're making. And you can continue here. And now there's two ways to pull things up. There's typing as she just did. It will pull you up a list, or there is the magnifying glass you can use and then put in some information, and it will search as well. So there's two ways to do that. All right. And after that, you'll see the screen will become, you have everything pre-populated once you've done that. And then this is, will the company be doing business in Vermont only under the company's legal name? You would check yes if you don't have any does business as names, but if you do, you must click no, and then this is where you will again put in your information, and you must attach your trade name certificate from the Vermont Secretary of State. So anytime you see these pop up where there's a browse button, you must have a document attached to. And again, if you have multiple DBAs, the little plus will pull you up the exact same box again. So you must put in your new information, and again, attach your Vermont Secretary of State Trade Name Certificate. You can keep doing that as many times as you need, but we don't only have two. And again, official representative, you'll be adding a person again, more than likely. But if you might think that they're there, you can do a search or just start typing a name and it will pull it up. But in our example, we're adding a person again. And primary email is very important because this will be the email that our system will send the reply emails to, or if something's issued in a matter, that's where this email will be the contact. And it's always important to fill in that top box of address, and for phone also, what type of address or phone number you're putting in. Again, you'll proceed. And you will only have to put in the CAPTCHA on the first time you're doing something. So if you don't see a CAPTCHA, don't let it worry you.
Now, this is telling us that there's a phone number in there with this, person in there or an organization with the same phone number, and that's okay because it is the same phone number for that individual as it is for that organization because that person works at the organization. It's just a little check and balance to make sure that people are paying attention, I guess, if they end up putting in a phone number that shouldn't be in.
But if that box does pop up and everything's good, you have to go back down and hit proceed again, or you have not entered it until you do that second check. And again, you have to go back to your filing that you're working on. There's a little note at the bottom of the first one, too, to remind you of that. There our new name popped up. And update profile will default to no, especially when you have just added it. But if there is changes and the person did exist, that's what you would use to make some changes. And are you the filer of the form? Are you, the filer of this form, an officer of the company? Yes or no? And if you put so if you check yes, it won't, you continue on. But if you check no, this is where you would need to, and it will pop up a box. You must provide us with written authorization executed by a corporate officer of the company that is giving you permission to file this for the company. And again, you would have to browse and add your form upload right here. And again, it's one with a red star, so if you hit no, you can't file without having this attached. But for this, we're going to go with yes. And then here's where you're going to put your company contacts for the different
contact types here. We have annual report contact, customer service contact, and regulatory matters contact. These can either be all the same person, or you could have one person responsible for two, or just one, and then you have three different people. So in this case, we're going to have Junebug be responsible for the first two contact responsibilities.
So again, we'll have a little.
Now this is a different part of the database, so you do have to type in the whole address again. It doesn't just pop up automatically when you enter in the name. So Junebug will be responsible for the annual report and customer service. And
it's important then, if you have more, again, our blue circle will pop up another box identical to the last one. So for example, if like we did 2 for June, but if there were 3 different people, you'll be doing this 3 different times. All right, and registered agent, again, you can use our search to see if your registered agent is actually already in our system, possibly because they're multi-agents for many companies, or you might have to add again. And in our example here, we're going to add. After this, you should be very adept at adding people. For this one, the red stars are the only information that must be entered. If you have any other information, please put it in. It makes the database much more complete, but in order to put in your agent, you only need where the red dots are, which is the name and the address. And telecom. And again, once you proceed, you'll have added this to the database. And remember to go back to your original tab to continue with your application. All right, and this is where we get to the directors or officers of the corporation. And again, you can look people up or add them as you need with the red, click to add a person. And again, use the blue circle with the plus to keep getting as many parts of this form as you need to fill in whatever officers and directors that you need to include. Another example of searching for a person. We did not find it.
So we need to add Grasshopper because we only added him as a contact, not into the person database. And since he's an officer of the company as well as being a contact, we'll just add him in real quick here. And you'll see that you do have some self-populating happening that can make it a little easier.
And again, it found other people with the same information, but that will happen with businesses. So we'll go back and tell it that that's all right. And again, go back to our form. And now a search should bring up There we go. And when you're doing a search, you can put in as little or as much information as you're looking for, and it will search. And once you see an underline, that will click it in. Here we go. And these are kind of self-explanatory questions here that you need to answer in order to have a complete filing. Summary of your services and operations. And then as these questions go down, yes or no, basically, you're going to have prepaid. In our example, we're going to say yes. Provide operator services, we're saying no. But here is where, depending on yes or no, you will get some different options. If you say yes, that to this question, a disaster recovery plan, you must attach it. But again, if you said no, that nothing will pop up. And then if you are registered in other states and provide, or have in the past provided, you have to, if you say yes, this is where you need to tell us what state. And if it's just one, you can just click. But a nice, easy way to do is if you have other states involved, the blue lines right there will show you a whole list. And you can click all or as many as you need, all in one fell swoop. And at the bottom of the list, you'll see the word done. Should come up. Oh, maybe our screen's not. It's too far over on the right, but then there's a done. If you've ever filed for bankruptcy, again, no, nothing will come up, but yes, you will have to, again, attach documents to verify information. And again, this question, if you are subject of an investigation, yes, will pop up extra boxes where you must attach documents. And the last question, you're under any fines, penalties, or sanctions. Again, yes, we'll bring up a box that you must attach documents with. Or no, we'll let you move on. And then the end of the filing here are the documents that are required to be filed with this to make it a complete filing. And again, you'll see the red stars. It won't let you do it without them. So you will just upload your Vermont Secretary of State documentation or other proof of registration, and your corporate structure and affiliates, and then your list of shareholders. All right, and then would you like us to provide notice of to the Department of Public Service? This is pretty much a yes question because that would be the reason
required, yeah.
on here. And then again, read the end of the document here so you know what you are agreeing to by filing this. And then you will have a CAPTCHA at the very end. Again, nice little math question. And once you hit proceed, it should just pop up that you have done everything well and it's all gone through. This one is just, again, people. What is this one? Oh, it's just telling us that these people already exist again. So we'll just say, yes, we know. Thank you very much. Proceed. But if it did pop up any red errors, it might tell you you missed attaching a document. Anything like that, it will tell you. It won't let you file it without things that it's necessary to have filed with it. And there you go. The green box told us, and then you'll see you'll be assigned a case number. And this would be the number you'll go in to add anything else you want to file into the case. Look at the case through our portal using the action bar there is how you would add things.
And the view case will bring you to this screen that shows you that the case is under review, the date it was filed, the case age, which refers to the number of days that it's been in the system. And then there'll be a people section here that lists the parties. And you'll see that because we said yes to notify the Department of Public Service, they're listed in the people section here. And then any other documents that are in the case, including a schedule, commission issued documents, and if there's any pre-filed testimony, other documents, public comment, and then the case log.
Case log if you're ever wondering if it sent something to someone or we issued something, you want to know who it went to, that brings you down to, it will tell you everything that just went on in the case, where we loaded up all these documents, it sent the email notification back to Junebug, and then you were fully filed. Because here, once you put in all your information as well, you click all other documents, you will see the very top is the, application form, sorry, the very bottom. From the information that you've put in, the machine will populate a form. So it will look very much like the paper forms that have been filed in the past. And there are new paper forms that will look just like this. They're on our website. So they are findable there if you want to see them. So then you'll have all the information needed in order to use our website to then file electronically. You must do paper. They're there.
And you'll notice on top it has the case number filled in, the date filed, and then you'll see the deadline for the Department of Public Service to file an objection. That's effectively the comment deadline. And down here you'll see all of the information that we put into the system is completed in the document.
And you'll see that the signature will be the signature filer name will just be whoever is logged into the portal and putting the information in for the applicant.
So this should be the same as the corporate officer?
No, it doesn't. No, that's fine. It just depends on who is. That just tells us that it was, you know, the secretary for the person or whoever's logged in will be the filer. Because otherwise, if you're not the person who's not the contact, will have put in a letter from the company saying the contact person's all set.
Got it.
So that's
helpful.
And you'll see all the documents that you put in are all in here.
You can click on this little button to open them up and save them onto your hard drive. And I think that covers the telco CPGs. And the other forms are a very similar process, so we're just going to go through them a little more quickly. Do we have any questions yet? No, okay, so there's no questions. Oh, we do. If you can't complete in one session, can you save and return later?
I think there is a save option in the bottom of the...
Yeah, you can save, but you just can't save the attached documents, so you'll have to go back and reattach the documents, but all of the form pieces that you filled in will remain in the case or in the file.
And anyone you've added into the database is there and all of that, but yeah.
Okay. This is Patty Egan at Verizon. I asked that question before you said the new forms are available online so you can print it, figure it all out. I was thinking if I couldn't see the next question until I answered something, you know, that could take me a while to get this form filled out.
Right.
Well, I mean, it's a good question anyway, because you could get interrupted while you're working on it, you know, and need to come back to it. So,
Thank you.
Yeah. Are there any other questions at this time? And because we'll move on to the other pieces if there's not.
Because that really gives you an overview of exactly how to fill in most of these forms, because the other forms have pretty much the same basic information, and you'll run them the same way. Adding people when you need to add and making sure you go back into your correct tab to finish your filing and uploading documents and following the red stars.
Mm-hmm. So the next one is that we'll look at is the CMRS provider registration, which is very similar.
Yep, Commercial Mobile Radio Service Provider Registration Form.
Basically cellular provider. Right. The old school name, Commercial Mobile Radio.
And you'll see it starts off pretty much all the same way with entering your company. I think we're just going to kind of go down through this. We'll show you, again, adding if you need to, looking up if you have to, if there's any does business as. Make sure you
very similar
put them there. Representatives, contacts, again, can be all the same, 3 separate, whatever you might need. Remember to add by using the blue circle pluses to get more little panels. Registered agent, same idea, all your officers, and
just a brief description and same sort of thing with the dates lookup, yeah.
And these yes or no, many of them, if you say yes, sometimes it will ask you to upload documents. And in this one, we only have, I believe there's 1 required document. Yep, your certificate of authority from the state. You upload that, read the directions at the bottom, what you're agreeing to, and you proceed.
So this is basically the same registration process. It's just for cellular. So the next one we were going to do is the telco carrier merger acquisition non-dominant form over here. We're going to say leave the page because we haven't filled anything out actually.
All right, here we go again. Find instruction. Make sure you read them. And this is where you, as it says, multiple options can be selected. You can do all 3, just 1, just 2, whatever it is that you might need to do. And again, this is more documents in here. What you're basically your transaction description, what you're looking for us to do. Your corporate structure will be uploaded. And again, kind of like the other one. This will be
this
company that's
this will be the company that we're doing a acquisition, and so we will have a company that already exists. We'll do.
So this would be the first company involved in the transaction.
And this company that exists, this is the company that's selling their assets and such, already has a CPG. We'll use this number here. And is this company an acquiring, surviving, or new consolidated company? This is not going to be existing anymore, this company, because it's selling its assets, and it won't be providing service in Vermont, so we'll hit no for both. You can hit yes. We're going to hit no because that's the situation. Now we have to add a second company because the company that will be the surviving company needs to be designated on this form as well. And we'll use the company that we just entered in that filed a telco CPG application, which was the Telco Company of Vermont with the infamous June bug. And does this company currently have a certificate of public good? No. It pops up another question down here, which we'll get to. Is this company an acquiring, surviving, or new? Yes, it will be the surviving company. And will this company provide service in Vermont after this transaction? And the answer is yes. So this company have an application for a CPG pending before the board. It should say the commission there. We're still getting all of our... so the case number that we had, let's see, was 17-4249-Telco CPG. And I noted that from our earlier case there.
And again, if there's more companies involved with this, you just keep clicking the blue circle. Keep adding. Since Ms. Bug was the one who involved with the CPG we just did, she actually will exist in here. She should.
I just double-clicked and it did something funky, so I'll just search in this way. There we are.
You got to make sure you underline the, once you see a line and it turns blue, then you'll know you're actually clicking it into your document. And
where did that go? Oh, there it is.
File should always default to no, usually, but have to.
And are you an officer of an acquiring, surviving, or new consolidated company? This is the question related to the one above, and we'll say yes. And then we have the same contacts information, the annual report contact, customer service, and regulatory matters. And we're just going to select all three and have it be Junebug. But she won't pop in again here because the database for the contacts is different from the person database, so we just need to type in the information again. The person database gets set up in the system in a different way than the contact database. There actually is not really a contact database. Each one has to be entered in. And email. And if you had multiple, you would click here to add another contact. And we'll hit proceed. It's important to read all of this information and understand what it is. We got some.
We must have missed a hole.
Let's find it.
There we go.
Oh, so this is what Holly was talking about earlier. If I had added an extra company, left it blank, I didn't realize that I had done it, and once I went to put it in there, it did this. So this is the part of the program where we get to have the audience learn a little bit through our mistakes. So we will delete this, or minus this, sorry. And now you'll see that it's not there anymore. It's only the one above. So let's try it again. And this is the same information. I think this is more of an information message as opposed to an error message.
The error,
right?
you noticed, was red.
Yeah.
So it would call your attention.
This one just gives us this message. Click save again to save the record anyway. And actually, it's actually called proceed at the bottom of the page instead of save. But
and there's the save for later if you did choose that you needed to. You got interrupted and
yeah,
that's the question we just had.
But remember, it won't save your documents.
Your attached documents will not stay attached. Right.
So now we have two different case numbers. In here we have the Telco CPG application, and then this one is the merger and acquisition notification form that we just filled out. And this is where you would see any unsubmitted drafts if you did the save for later as well. And so this is where that information
and again,
is.
if you go into that, you'll see all the information that you just filed.
And so you have to click here and go to View Case. And then you'll see the main tabs that are filled out are the people,
Yeah, you see the little blue circle at the top means it's syncing and pulling information from everywhere, so it's not fully all in yet when we watch the blue circle.
Okay, so then if we go to the all other documents, and at the bottom of the list is the notice filing, which is, this should be the form completed. And here we go, save files with the commission, and all of your information filled out. Okay. So do we have any questions? Okay. So the next one we were going to look at is
The last two are here, but they're not.
billing aggregator, and this one's pretty simple. So, of course, read the beginning here. And we're not going to actually fill this one out, but we'll just walk through it for folks. Company's legal name. Remember to click here to add an organization if it's not in there. We have the DBA, doing business as, question, and if you click yes, there'll be a need to fill out the additional information below. If you are not an officer of the company, you need to add your written authorization. We have the comments, the contacts.
And again, all free, 1, 2,
Yep.
whatever you want.
Director, officer, and then some yes, no questions, as well as a needing to upload a document listing all the billing agents in Vermont authorized to bill for this registrant. And they register with any other regulatory agencies, other states. Yes will give you, actually, you have to upload a document that lists the states there. And is there any administrative, civil, or criminal legal actions? If you click yes, you have to upload a document to explain that. And now down here, it just gives you the information that you are declaring once you submit the form. And you click proceed to move forward and get your case number and the system. So that is the billing aggregator registration form. Pretty straightforward. Very straightforward. And the last one we were looking at today is the cable TV CPG application.
Which is used for an initial applicant or to get a CPG for additional towns.
So if you're an existing CPG holder and you want to expand into other towns and serve them, you would click initial CPG for additional towns. And if you're a brand new company, it's initial cable TV CPG for applicant. You add a town here, and to add additional towns, you just add that little thing here, and it gives you another box to choose. Now remember to delete it if you only have 2 towns, not 3. And the list of entities to whom the applicant will mail a copy of this application, because there are some requirements that the applicant has to actually mail rather than do the serving of the documents in the system. Then we have the very similar to the other forms, legal name, DBA, company official representative. Again, are you an officer? If you click no, you need to provide the written authorization. Company contact, same issue. The cable companies are required to have these different contact people as well. You can click all three or just one, and then add here to add additional people. And
required documents. Which if you, this is again, looks like everything else, your Secretary of State certification needs to be uploaded, and as noted here, unless you are a new corporation, then that would not be uploaded. List of names of the owners and incorporators of the applicant, again, that's the required one with the red star. Make sure you read all of
you need to read all of these and then also attach a statement to show that you intend to comply with this criteria. So a signed document basically listing these and that you intend to comply. Town roadmap showing where the build out will be and where the service will be. And then this needs to be notified to the Department of Public Service. So you need to click yes here, or if you click no, then you have to provide it by paper, which is not as convenient. And then here, this is just the recital about complying with the Public Utility Commission rules according to disconnections and cable television operations, et cetera. And then you just click proceed, and you'll receive the case number and be able to view the case in the portal and see the progress, as well as printing an actual completed form that gives you the time frame for the department to file its comments. And I think that
all these are very similar.
Those were the intended pieces to cover today. Tomorrow morning, we are planning to have another session that will cover annual or any type of report, including annual reports, which some folks might be interested in hearing that are on the phone today, and also rulemaking, either to amend or modify a rule or to petition the commission to implement a new rule. So that will be tomorrow and 9:30, and we'll just remind folks that Holly Anderson here is our ePUC system administrator, and on the bottom of bottom of the second page of our memo is puc.epucadmin@vermont.gov.
That is the best place to send questions that are ePUC related directly to that instead of the clerk email if it's about ePUC, because that way this one's monitored for that reason and should be able to respond hopefully pretty readily to your questions. And you can also call anytime if you're very hung up or you get an error that is you can't get past. We're here to help as well. Hopefully you've been thorough.
And do we have any other questions? Okay, I just want to bring folks' attention to the PUC website. Oh, we have a question. Should this portal be okay, should this portal be used to update company contact information for companies that receive CPGs prior to launch of ePUC?
You can send that information, whether in paper to our office or in an email to the clerk, and we will do that updating in the inside through the system, and we will make sure that that all gets done. But yes, if you do that in writing, we'll make sure that gets all fixed up.
Okay. And the PUC website, puc.vermont.gov, you'll notice that see this indication. Phase 3 of ePUC is now live. Today's is the second day where it has gone live, including the forms that we showed you today, as well as the rulemaking and reports forms that will be online tomorrow, or our training will be. And this is a link to the memorandum that notified our folks in this. There's also a procedures for electronic filing using ePUC. This is really important to take a look at, as if you have any questions on the ePUC process and what needs to be filed and such in the process. So please take a look at this, and you know, before you need to kind of go ahead and contact the system admin, take a peek at these pages. It's pretty well.
It's pretty thorough. It'll tell you too the kind of documents you can upload if you have any questions about different types of documents. But for a lot of these, PDF and Word is the ones you're looking at. We had a question: where are these actual forms on our website? Down at the bottom, you'll see these nice little 6 boxes that actually exist on every page of our website. And if you go down there, you'll find the forms directory. And scrolling down this, you'll find lots of different things that we have. And for this, there is a nice little section closer to the bottom where you'll find under Telecommunications the Certificate of Public Good form, which was the first one that we did today. And then we also have some nice handy-dandy rules and some questions. If you have questions about filling out, this is a good place to go first.
We have the rules that are applicable to telco listed here to make it easier for folks. And then the second one we did was this one, the mergers and acquisitions form, and then the billing aggregator form, and the cell provider form. That was the CNRF.
And
the cable. Yeah.
And also at the bottom, just to bring note to people that the 6 boxes here, this case is in ePUC, brings you right into this is the portal that you guys go through. So that's a nice quick click button for those of you who didn't know that it was there, instead of having to type in something at the top each time or however, but that's a nice thing to know. And if you want to show them our ePUC, that where there's
sure.
videos and things can be found.
Under help, this is where we have some short videos about how to create a login. And then we have the earlier trainings that we had done, online trainings recorded, and today's training will also be recorded, and they're listed here. These are the previous ones, and then today's will also be in there. Okay. Did we have any other questions? Okay. Hearing none. Thank you all for coming and attending.
Thank you for attending.
We really appreciate it. And if you have any questions,
tomorrow for report time.
Okay. Thanks, folks.
Thank you.